Hi, it's Marilyn Devnish here from transformationstm.com, and I thought I might do a quick Tarot Tuesday taster. So I've just done the individual readings in the Facebook membership group. So if you asked for a reading, your reading is now up. And I thought I might choose an overall card for the vibe that is February for the wider collective in terms of Facebook, and just see what we come up with. And this is something I do every month in my membership group. So anyone who wants a reading, they just put a yes when I put the thread up, and then I will do an individual reading for them for the month ahead. So let's go with, I'm going to go with that one there. Okay, decision. So let me show you that. And it's actually quite interesting. It's similar to what we were just talking about on the coaching and accountability. I just did a free pilot webinar. And one of the things I was talking about is a card that relates to this one. So this is Archangel Jophiel, and it says, release yourself from that which holds you back, ! A need to detox, unnecessary worry based on lack of self-confidence. And actually, let me just check something, make sure, yes, that's cool, because yesterday I did it and the sound was out. So yeah, I'm going to say that again. So release yourself from that which holds you back, ! A need to detox, unnecessary worry based on a lack of self-confidence. This is very similar to the things that we were just discussing in the webinar about half an hour ago. So that is pretty cool. And so this one, if you look at it, the cage door is open, but the main protagonist is still sitting in the cage, hasn't realized the door is open, hasn't realized you can fly free. So you're sitting in those confines, and someone on the webinar described this exact scenario, and I described one of the tarot cards that relates to this. So for those of you who joined me for that webinar earlier, this really is in alignment with what we were talking about and things that we're going to be clearing in the coming 6 months during that the coaching and accountability calls. So let me show you again so you can see what I mean about the bird sitting in the cage. Everyone else has flown free, and it's almost like you haven't realized that there are new horizons. So if you have been, and this will sound a bit weird, I was going to say if you have been confined by invisible boundaries, but that's the whole point. The boundaries are invisible. So the way someone described it today is they said they were in a box. The box has disappeared, but they hadn't noticed. And the analogy that I shared with that was one of the memes you often see, well, I often see on Facebook, is there's a donkey or a horse, or sometimes it's an elephant, but it's an animal that's got power, and it's tied to a really lightweight plastic chair by a crappy little bit of string, but it doesn't go beyond that boundary because it's gotten so used to being, that's the range with which I can move. So that's what we were talking about earlier today. And this is exactly that card where, so one of the questions you might be asking yourself is, have you just gotten used to things being a particular way? Have you had boundaries set for you? And one of the things you can be asking yourself, is that still realistic? Is that still appropriate? Is that still what works for me? Is that still what I want? Is that still what's necessary? Because you can get so used to. So I would say this one is doing a little bit of a reevaluate and a shake up, and then making some decisions. Is this still okay? Is this still what I want to do? Is this still where I want to be? Is this even who I still want to be doing this with? And it's calling for some of those decisions to be made. Now, in terms of releasing yourself a detox, there'll be 1,001 ways to do that. So I was just saying on the webinar, for example, that I'm trained in 20 different modalities. We're going to be meeting many of those modalities over the next 6 months, but I'm not wedded to which of those it will be, because it's going to depend on the dynamic of the group and what they are bringing to the table. So it may be that you have a favorite modality, go with that. It may be that you've got a modality that you always use, and actually you might fancy a change. So just thinking about what is it it'll be useful to release yourself from. This could also be a physical detox in terms of what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're consuming. However, I would say it also feels like an energetic thing as well. So, what's the energy, what's the environment that you find yourself in? And could that be cleaned up and detoxified as well? We had somebody, for example, talking about decluttering. That's the physicality of the space. So it feels like that kind of energy. So I would say the vibe for this month is maybe looking at what you've been doing. If confidence has been one of the things that has been holding you back, one of the questions you can simply be asking yourself, is this the time to sort that out? And again, I was just talking about that a few minutes ago, saying, described my personality right up until the age of 32, where I was very quiet, very shy, lacking in confidence, very low self-esteem. I was actually suicidal. And that I'd gotten used to that as an example. That was just who I was. I'm very quiet, I'm introvert. And so I'd just gotten used to being that way. Didn't even occur to me until the age of 32 that you actually could do things differently, and you could actually, with the right help and support, you could change things. So this is like the vibe and energy of that, and uncannily like everything we've just been talking about. So yeah, that's the vibe for February for those for whom it resonates. Yeah, cool. And if you'd like an individual tarot reading, you can go to my website. I think it's I know what my website is. I'm just trying to think what the / is, because I don't look at my own website that often. So it's www.transformationstm. I think it's / tarot readings, I think. But yes, if you'd like an individual reading, they're either 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or an hour and a half. If you want to go in depth and do some clearing, that is the place to go. Well, wishing you all a fabulous, fantabulous, fantastic month of February and beyond. And I will catch you all later.